Chapter 2 is law and crime. We talked about some of the different crimes and laws, just like misdemeanors, felony, and misdemeanors, less serious crime. That's usually less than a year in jail, and a felony usually is a longer punishment, usually over a year. It's more for like serious crimes. We talked about some of the different cases, like the United States versus Logner. We also talked about some criminal defenses and the five elements of a crime, which is actus reus, which is the guilty act, mens rea, the guilty intent, and then the guilty act and guilty intent are related, the attendant circumstances, and the specific results. Some of the different amendments, like the Fourth Amendment, which is search and seizure, the Fifth Amendment, which is self-incrimination, Sixth Amendment, which is speedy, public, fair trials. Eighth Amendment is cruel and unusual punishment. I could just relate to some of these just because, I mean, you could tell just what they are. So I know with self-incrimination that if someone's like in court, they can actually say I plead to the Fifth Amendment, which means that, they're, I guess, they're admitting that, that they're guilty and that they're instead of, I guess, wasting time. I think that I'm not sure about this, but if I think that if you do plead to the Fifth Amendment, you might get like a more lower sentence just because you're admitting you're guilty, and I guess just that alone, admitting you're guilty instead of being found guilty, goes longer than if you found guilty because it makes you, I guess, own up to your actions, and it's kind of like a regret, and you kind of like know that you did something wrong, and that right there can that's when the courts see that you're trying to you admit that you're wrong and that you're trying to move on and do better from it. So I think that does help your sentence. I know with the Fourth Amendment, search and seizure, it's like basically if someone, if they need to find something, or like let's say that there's a lot of evidence that there's a gun in your house, like an illegal gun, and they can get basically a search and seizure warrant, and they can actually they have the right to search your house, whether you like it or not. So you can be like, it's my house. No, if they have that search and seizure warrant, they can still search it. They don't need your permission to search your house. And just an example of, let's say, the Eighth Amendment, cruel and unusual punishment. So let's say someone someone sped 3 miles above the speed limit, and then they get sentenced to jail for life. That's an cruel and unusual. The punishment has to fit the crime. That's basically what it's saying. And also, there's rights of the accused, which basically means that the crime prevention must take place without the violation of individual rights and liberty. So it's trying to say that you still have rights. I guess since you're still going to court and they're pertaining to you, you still have rights because you're not found guilty yet. In a way, like you're proven innocent until found guilty. So the due process of law. So for example, the right to remain silent. So the right to have a trial by jury and the right to counsel in criminal proceedings. So they're telling you your rights as they arrest you because you still have rights. You always have, even like they say, if you kill somebody, if you're a child molester, like you and like people like you don't deserve rights. Everyone still has rights, even like when you're in jail. You're limited a lot, but you still have certain rights that that you have. And just thinking about some of these social issues, that's going on in today's world, I think it's really important. Is obviously COVID. That's a huge issue. The debate comes like we talked about in class about wearing a mask or not. Should you wear a mask? Should you not wear a mask? And I guess BLM, Black Lives Matter. People are you for it? Are you against it? Like, and just give my brief opinion on this. I mean, I hate wearing a mask. I said that multiple times in the group chat, but I see the purpose of it, so I wear it. It's if it serves purpose and protects people, and protects yourself, protects others, then everyone should wear it because it helps protect you. How much we know that helps, we don't know how much it helps, but if it does help, and from what we heard, it protects you and ourselves, so it should be more. To provide safety for not even only yourself but for other people, and I mean, I support. I think being racist is the worst thing in the world. If you're black, white, Mexican, I think that everyone should be entitled to the same rights, the same trial, same. Even though that might not be the case. And what my opinion on is that I'm white, but like I think that BLM is more taking of just the black lives. It's more like it shows that they're more important than we are, than anybody is. Like there's Mexicans. I think Mexicans. I'm Jewish, so. But that's the thing that I'm trying to say is that I'm Jewish. We don't talk about how many Jews died during the Holocaust, over 5 million. We talk about black lives, all the time. And I think it takes away, I think that takes away from other people's nationality. But it's important to focus on everybody as an important individual. So, and that's why it's an important chapter, to know your laws, to know your rights, and, so you can provide that in the future for, yourself and for your career. So that's about it.